Hello, everybody. It is September the 6th, 2020, this horrible year of 2020. This is Wrestleview Weekly, hosted by me. Hi, I'm your friendly local and neighborhood Doug Lackey, veteran columnist of Wrestleview.com and co-host of the Wrestleview Live, alongside the effervescent editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, Mike Tedesco, where we cover all of the major WWE pay-per-views immediately following them right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. Oh boy, are we going to have a lot of discussions today, kids. So much news coming down this week. So much news. So much stuff to talk about. Oh boy. Strap in. This is going to be a doozy. If you haven't checked them out, the effervescent one, Mike Tedesco, over the past couple of days has posted reaction videos from the two news items, major news items that we're going to be talking about here today. One of them being Big Vince McMahon dropping the ban hammer on his performers, doing stuff that is third-party related. We're going to talk about that, as well as the full letter was just released of the letter that he gave to his performers regarding doing these third-party things. So we're going to talk in detail about that. Number two, apparently, Matt Hardy told Tony Khan that he didn't have a concussion, and that's all Tony Khan need for carrying on with his match last night at AEW All Out. We're going to talk about that too. There's the two big news items there to talk about. Lots of stuff regarding the COVID-19, the spiky Nerf ball. Everyone's got it, including The Rock, including Kevin Nash, because he felt left out. AJ Styles had it. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But apart from that, updates on the injury front with implications to the WWE milk carton. If you are not familiar with the WWE milk carton, I will fill you in on what that is as you listen to the show. And finally, so with all of the, all of the stuff happening over the week and everyone having the feels, a lot of angry feelings, a lot of frustrated feelings, it's about high time we revisit the WrestleMania whiteboard, where we attempted to book WrestleMania of next year well in advance and trying to figure out and piece together what all is happening there. Oh yeah, just to fill you in, there is no longer an actual physical whiteboard because I just can't fit it here. So we're just going to do it live on the cam. You'll see it in there, and everyone who's in chat right now, they'll help me out in booking next year's WrestleMania. Speaking of everyone there in the tiny box next to me, let's get the pleasantries out of the way. If you're in the chat room now, you say, wee! If you're not in the chat room, there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Who all is in the chat room? CJ, woo! The whiteboard. Hell yeah, we're dipping into the whiteboard. You know we had to now that Burton is back in town. So, who all is in there? Come on, let's do it. I see Jamel. F it, we'll do it live. You're damn right we're going to do it live. Everyone in the chat room, let me know right now. I know you're in there. Whee! Come on now. Come on. You're in there. You want to know it. I see Mashoon. Happy Labor Day weekend, Doug, Indiana. Thank you very much, Mashoon. Whee! One. Alacron. Whee! Fucking A. Who else is in there? Come on. Let yourselves be known right now. I'm not dipping into my sources until you guys let me know right now. Come on. I know I saw Hayden. Hayden's in there. Hayden is in the chat room. Who else? I see Daniel. Daniel's in there. Whee! Oh, boy. Whew. Tanya Weaver's in there. Hi. You're supposed to say we, but that's okay. You're a newcomer. Okay. Sources. Got to talk about the sources and other stuff related to the sources. As many wrestling news websites, they have sources that they say that something is happening in professional wrestling. Our sources tell us that this was said backstage. Our sources tell us that this was supposed to happen. Well, here at Wrestleview.com, we double and triple check our sources to make sure that it is fresh for your consumption the news. John L. saying, hey, but you're supposed to say, wee! Alarcon. One Alarcon. Okay, my bad. And so, our sources are always doubled and triple checked for freshness. But here on Wrestleview Weekly, we got our own sources, and they are always the best and always the freshest. Labor Day sources. That's right, Machoon. We're dipping into a good favorite of ours from No Da Brewery out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It is No Dahito. It is reversed because I'm on reverse camera with the lovely lady jumping through the lime. It is a lovely, lovely little thing. Here we go. Say salud to summer with this mojito-inspired Vif beer. An extremely sensible beer, it tastes as if mint leaves right out of the garden were muddled in the can and the rim was rubbed with fresh lime zest. Exquisitely light, but still boasting a tenacious head. See why it's been called vacation in a glass. So yes, that's what we're doing. Let's crack that bad boy open. There we go. And we pour into the chalice of truth. Absolutely. This day calls for the chalice of truth. Hopefully I get the pour right on this one and we don't get too much of a head. There we go. That's very good. Yeah, a little bit of a head, but that's okay. We got a tall glass here. That's good. Juan saying, sounds like sex in a can. Oh, don't we all wish that? No. No, we don't. No, we don't. So, the ABV on this guy, it's a very light one. Where are you? 4.8. 4.8 on the ABV. It's light because, so last week was Payback. The week before that was SummerSlam. And as many professional wrestling news podcasts do, they make predictions for those pay-per-views. And, oh yeah, they always get some stuff wrong. They'll always get stuff wrong. Andrew in the chat room going, wee! And so, people get predictions wrong. I myself make predictions just like everyone else, except when I am very confident in my predictions, I will lock them. And if a prediction that I have locked is not fully realized, I must take a punishment. And for those of you who tuned in last week to our Payback watch-along, you'll know that I've got some of these coming to me. In fact, I owe 1 failed lock from Payback and 3 failed locks from SummerSlam. And so, Doug, what happens when a lock is failed? Well, we take a shot of the Luna Azul Blanco tequila. This is horrid stuff. I hate taking tequila straight up. I love margaritas, but I can't stand tequila straight up. So, we're going to do 2 of them. 2 locks, a double shot, and yeah. And thank goodness that we're chasing it with the No Dahito. This will be very good. No, it won't. It'll be horrible. It'll be absolutely horrible. So, okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let me take I like hearing the sound of the thing coming out. You probably didn't hear it that well. Okay, all right, here we go. Here is the double shot glass, my Cleveland Indians double shot glass. 10, you're going, oh man. Oh man is right. So, okay, so here's the double shot glass. Here we go. Pour that sucker in. Ooh, there we go. All right. Oh boy. I got to fill you guys in. I mentioned it last week on the Payback watch along. Made my own Bombay gin infused with Scottish breakfast tea. I've been having double shots of that with lemonade. Oh, so good. So good. I might show you guys that next week sometime. Well, actually, no, because I'm going to be taking shots at tequila and having that. I don't know. So, God, I hate this. I so hate this. Here it is. There's the shot glass right up to the brim. Here we go. All right. Let's take our medicine. get this out of the way because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. By the way, we're not really going to be recapping any television shows because of how heavy the news has been. We might keep it like that. We'll see. All right. Here we go. Hold it up. The long-time callers, first-time listeners know the drill. Here we go. Here's to me not knowing shit about professional wrestling. Oh! Oh! Oh, God. Oh. God, I hate that. Oh. God, I hate it so much. Oh, man. The stuff I put myself through for you people. The stuff I put myself through. Don't mind me, I'm just kind of making sure some things are going right here because F it, we always do it live. There we go. Oh, boy. Oh, it burns so bad. It burns so bad. Oh, boy. Grash saying, wee, I deserve that. No, I don't. I don't deserve anything. Hayden asking me, but how do I really feel? All right. Oh, God, I need some more of that. God, that burns. All right. Brace yourself, kids. It's time we talk about a lot of news. First off, I am going to preface this with I did not watch last night's AEW All Out. Mediocre Lewis in the chat room going, wee! I did not watch All Out last night. And so I cannot make any judgments or critiques on any matches that happened. That's fair, okay? But one thing that I can critique and judge, Randy in the chat room going, wee! One thing that I cannot do, one thing I can do, is judge and critique the handling of being injured during a match. Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara apparently had a broken rules match, which is basically no DQ, false count anywhere, blah, 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 blah. Shane Bradley in the chat room goes, wee! So, during the match that they were having, not but a minute into this match, we have this spot of Guevara shoving or spearing Hardy off of a scaffolding onto this little merch table that is oddly placed in the arena, but hey, what do I know? They overshot the table, and Matt Hardy's head just cracks on the concrete, just cracks on the pavement. Just bad, 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 bad. Referee Aubrey Edwards would throw up the X to indicate a legitimate injury. Dr. Michael Sampson checked on Hardy, and the match was initially stopped. It would soon restart. A dazed Hardy and Guevara would brawl into Daly's place and quickly go to the finish, with Guevara falling off of another scaffolding onto a crash pad. F4 Dub Online reported that Matt Hardy went to the hospital soon after the conclusion of the match. AEW commentator Tony Schiavone stated that during the broadcast that Dr. Sampson cleared Matt Hardy to continue after Hardy told him he was okay. It was later clarified that Sampson gave him an examination before allowing him to continue. Hardy's wife, Rebby Hardy, commented on the incident following the match, noting that there is nothing entertaining about this, stating, quote, "Let me be absolutely fucking clear. There is nothing entertaining about a concussion. Shame on everyone in that goddamn building. Here we see a text between her and her husband before the match goes on. Love you. Got to hit to the football field in just a minute to start our match. Hope you enjoy. Remy, I love you. Don't be dumb. What the fuck? You practically cleared that table. What the fuck? Matt, what the goddamn fucking fuck?" said Rebby. Later on, is reported by us and from Tony Khan that at the start of the all-out media scrum Saturday, AEW CEO and President Tony Khan commented on the injury, and he said that the health and safety of the wrestlers is the most important thing in AEW. Khan said that he personally stopped Matt Hardy's match and rang the bell to pause the match, but he said the reason he let the match continue was because Matt passed concussion protocol. Khan said it was a scary moment and something that anyone enjoyed. It was not something that anyone enjoyed. Khan emphasized that it appeared Matt was okay and that he was sent to the hospital as a precaution afterwards, and that he said that he spoke to Matt after the match, and when he was at the hospital, everything appeared to be okay. Matt is still in the hospital. Reby Hardy has been very vocal on the Twitter, saying that it is 1000% a concussion. How you can pass concussion protocol within 5 minutes is beyond me. Samoa Joe constantly had to try to pass a concussion test earlier this year. How? More to the point, and this is beyond. Apparently, at the beginning of AEW All Out, there was this big battle royale thingy. They love these battle royales. They always seem to happen on a pay-per-view. And we saw the debut of Matt Sydal. A debuting Matt Sydal would appear. And I'm going to quickly try to find the GIF of him making only his second move at AEW All Out. If you'll beg my pardon. Where he attempted to do a shooting star press and did not turn out that well. This was, again, mind you, the very first match that they had. Went to leap, lost his footing with his right foot. Nearly looks like, he says he's okay via the Twitter. He says he's just fine. But this was one of the first things we saw on AEW All Out that you might have seen. Again, I did not watch it. But this was one of the very first things that happened. And this image was embedded in everyone's skulls at the beginning of AEW All Out. This is the very first thing you see. So why in the hell, even if he did pass protocol, would you allow this match between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy to continue? Even after a horrific spot like that. Why would you do that? Why? Even after you had the scare of Matt Sydal that everyone's going to be talking about. Why would you continue this? Everyone knows basically my thoughts about AEW in that they are incredibly botcherific when it comes to their production, and they just cannot seem to get out of their own way. But this gives them an incredible black eye. Yes, and I know a lot of people will make arguments that, oh, well, Liv Morgan had a concussion during a WWE match and she still continued. Yes, WWE has done this as well. They are not in the clear here. But this was incredibly apparent. This could have ended. They could have just ended the match. It would have been fine. What's wrong with ending the match? What's wrong with not ending the match? End the match and have Guevara gloat about it for the next month and a half, 2 months of television. Can you imagine how everyone would be tuning in to see Matt Hardy again? Coming back from that? Why not? Why not? What's keeping you from doing that? Nothing. It's incredibly horrible decision making. A horrible decision making by AEW and Tony Khan, especially trying to feed the line that he passed concussion protocol. Look, I tried to, not think about, this professional wrestling. What if it's a shoot? What if it's all staged? I get that. A lot of people were thinking that when this happened. But apart from that, you had Matt Sydal nearly suffer a neck stinger. You could have stopped it. It doesn't matter if he passed it or not. A spot like that, end it. But they didn't. To each their own, I guess. Hey, if that's the kind of thing you like, you're an AEW fan and trying to find reasons why that's okay, knock yourself out. Go right ahead. But, sorry, you still haven't. I'm still not bought. I can't remember the last time I actually watched a full episode of AEW. So we just put it that way. Vince McMahon, let's get into this one. This story has been like wildfire since it broke last Friday. Mike Tedesco, the effervescent one, gave his thoughts. I'm going to be giving my thoughts, but I've got a little bit of a luxury because we got more information that came down the pipe today. So, last Friday, Vince McMahon issued an edict stating that talent could no longer use outside third parties. We actually have that actual letter has been released, and it was released today via Fightful. Here, and the letter says, end quote, furthering my comments last Sunday regarding the reinvention of our product, it is imperative that we promote and protect our brand in every conceivable way. Some of you are engaged with outside third parties using your name and likeness in ways that are detrimental to our company. It is imperative that these activities be terminated within the next 30 days by Friday, October the 2nd. Continued violations will result in fines, suspension, or termination at WWE's discretion. These actions are necessary in order to rebuild our brand as we enter the next phase of growth at the WWE. I thank you for your cooperation in this matter and for all of your efforts towards the rejuvenation of the WWE. Vince, that's good shit. But put on a shirt, you fat fuck. So, Vince laying the banhammer down on those that are on Twitch, that are on Cameo, that are on YouTube, that are doing all kinds of stuff, say, promoting or advertising products that they use for makeup and stuff that never got the okay from the WWE. Maybe doing some questionable activities on the YouTube and the Cameo and the Twitch, like, say, getting drunk openly with your sister. Or maybe, say, dancing all the time in outfits that I myself find incredibly attractive, but others find incredibly suggestive. Guys, and what I love is the argument going down is, well, oh, WWE, Vince is a slave driver. Vince is a slave driver. He's not letting them be who they are. Vince isn't letting them be creative. They're so creative. Vince McMahon has every legal right to do what he's doing. Every legal right. In fact, the initial letter that was sent, that was leaked out last Friday, says, again, just like how it did in that letter, again, imperative activities must be terminated within the next 30 days. But the one thing that everyone seemed to be talking about is something that is not in the letter, and that regards the real names. According to this report by Wrestling Inc. that was let out last Friday, during the call, it was also stated to talent that WWE does not just own their character names, but their real names as well. As WWE talent are independent contractors, there is a question of legality behind that announcement. So, claiming that they own the real names, but now we have this letter released that it's about proprietary ownership of the character and their likeness. Over on the Twitch, Paige has changed the name of her channel from WWE Paige Official to Soraya Official. I'll even look it up right now. Mia Yim is on the Twitch, and she also changed her screen name, and we'll actually look that up right now. It's me, Mia Yim, but I believe we're going to be sent somewhere else. We're actually going to browse the channels now because that did not even show up. So here, I've got it on the search bar here for Mia Yim. So now she has named it, It's Me, SYB. Cease and desist orders haven't been taken. Instead, we see people changing their names, changing their descriptors. In fact, you'll see here on Mia Yim's descriptor for her channel, pro wrestler, in parentheses, Mia Yim, on TV by day, amateur gamer by night. That may be changed as well. She may just say professional wrestler on TV by day. But what's even more fascinating than all of this, the changing of the names and everything else, the one outfit that everyone would be on their minds is Xavier Woods' YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down. He has been cultivating this thing for the past 5 to 7 years. It's been a hit, a monstrous hit. And he has so many other WWE performers on this channel playing video games together and doing all kinds of other fun stuff. So what's going on Up, Up, Down, Down? Let's look at it. Right here, the initial video. The party plays Monopoly number 2. Here we have It's Every Man for Himself as the party continues their vicious game of Monopoly. Can Champions Lane continue to bring Tyler Breeze, a.k.a. Prince Pretty, all the money, or will the rest of the gang figure out a way to bring down the left, right champion? Throughout Up, Up, Down, Down's channel, they have not changed the descriptors. Shayna Banks versus Bayley versus Angelo Dawkins versus Tyler Breeze in something here. Nothing's been changed. Why? WWE owns this channel. They have a stake in it. That's why this is continuing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about hampering creativity. This is not about making that ball and chain 4 tons heavier so that no one can make any money. No, first off, it's all about making money. Number one, it's all about making money. But number 2, it's also about PR. Natalya getting drunk with her sister and showing off for their boobs and doing a lot of sexually innuendo stuff. Nope, not having that. Lana showing off makeup tips and endorsing products. Nope, can't do that. Vince McMahon has every legal right to do this. Every legal right. And for people arguing, oh, he just wants money, he just wants a cut. Then what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? As small as it may be, what's wrong with that? Everyone wins in the end. Everyone wins in the end. You're getting brand name recognition via the WWE, and you're getting more eyeballs on you as a performer because you're not performing live every time. You're not performing live in front of audiences and being on tour. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with you coming up with an idea and going to the WWE brass and saying, hey, I've got this idea, run with it? If they say no, then go ahead and just make your own channel, just don't mention the WWE. You can do that. And more to the point, I think by the beginning of November is when we'll really see how this all plays out. We'll see if there are actually going to be fines and suspensions and terminations. We'll see what happens here in about 2 months' time. I see nothing wrong with this. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't understand all the commotion about this. And apart from what I love was everyone having a cow about owning real names. First, I don't believe that for a second. Wrestling Inc. threw that on there to get everyone hyped up and to get the clicks and to get the discussion. Ebony in the chat room, but Doug, the people who get fired all claim they went to the boss with ideas that got shut down. Yep. So they got shut down, so you don't do it. But Doug, they're contracted employees. Yeah. So go ahead and do what you want. See what happens. You signed a contract, guys. Come on. You signed up for this. You knew what you were getting yourself into. But I want to be a professional wrestler and wrestle in front of everyone and make my name famous. Well, you don't do it just by pro wrestling alone and doing shit in the ring. You've got to have a character, and you've got to have a lot of production to back you up. If you think you can do it on your own, then you would have done it on your own a long time ago. So I drink from the chalice of truth. Okay? Vince McMahon has every right to do this. Every right. As horrible as you might think it to be and as capitalistic scumfuck as it may be, he's in the right. He has every legal obligation to do it. But one piece of news that I wanted to throw your way, my girlfriend Deanna and I talked about this news item Friday night and had really fascinating discussions for a good 2 hours Friday night, which led me to purchase a share of WWE stock. I have purchased a share of WWE stock. Dog, why are you doing this? Info, kids. Information. That's all it is. I get to be let in on shareholders' discussions, what's agreed upon. Getting in on those conference calls. It's just really to listen. It's not really to have any say in anything. There's no way in hell I'd have any say in anything. But, that's right. I purchased some stock in the WWE. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious. I'm really curious. This is Pandora's box that's been opened for me. And what I mean by that also is that I am right now in the middle of doing a lot of research projects involving WWE financials. Looking and making comparisons between the COVID-riddled company that we have right now and comparing them to the past 5 quarters of the WWE. I want to see what exactly the financial changes are. I'm really curious to see, has there been profit loss? What kind of production gains or losses have there been? I get access to the SEC filings also. And you can get them as well. They're public. It's all public. But I am going to be diving deep into WWE financials. It's going to be a major project that I'm undertaking. Not sure when we'll see the fruits of this labor. But with buying stock in the WWE, I'm going to be finding out a lot of things. And I don't mean, and it's not to be gotcha journalism. It's not meant to be undercover or anything like that. I'm genuinely curious, you know? And I'm pretty sure that other wrestling websites have stock in the WWE. I'm damn well sure Alvarez and Sapp and Satin and Meltzer and others have stock in the WWE. But I don't think they really even read the financials. I love reading the financials. You can find out so much stuff looking beyond the company speak. So we'll see what happens here. We'll find out when it comes to the ban hammer being dropped probably around beginning of November. They're given until the beginning of October to eliminate all third-party stuff. But we'll really find out who's getting that ban hammer around the beginning of November. Jamel asking, is there a website where you buy stock? Deanna has links. I can't remember who she's with, but Deanna owns Disney stock. And so she went online and basically sold one share and got me a WWE share. Just create an account with E-Trade or Ameritrade, and there you go. That's how you do it. So, yeah, there you go. Other news, speaking of trademarks and copyrights and patents, the WWE filed a very unusual trademark and a possible new name for a Firefly Funhouse character. On September the 1st, they filed the trademark Wobbly Walrus. It's unknown what the item will be used for, but Bray Wyatt did promise a new Firefly Funhouse character on SmackDown last Friday. We can make some guesses on who Wobbly Walrus is. I've got ideas. It's pretty simple. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat will know who Wobbly Walrus is. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat knows who Wobbly Walrus will be. Ain't that right? Wobbly Walrus is going to be Paul Heyman. News, of course, on the COVID-19 spiky Nerf ball front. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced that he tested positive for COVID-19. This was earlier last week, I believe, Wednesday. Last Wednesday he did. He stated that his wife and 2 young kids were also diagnosed with the virus. They are all feeling better, no longer contagious. He admitted his battle was one of the toughest he experienced in his life. Spoke about feeling helpless, not being able to protect his wife and kids, his number one priority. Johnson and his family picked up the virus from a family friend that did not know that they were infected. The Rock urges everyone to get checked, boost your immune system through healthy habits, and wear a goddamn mask. So, yeah, even The Rock is not immune to the spiky Nerf ball. Kevin Nash felt left out, so then he announced the next day that he and his family suffered from COVID-19. He replied to Rock's tweet saying, "Welcome to the team. Very sorry your family is infected. I was tired for a while and didn't train for the 4th day. My wife still hasn't got smell or tastes back. Son was asymptomatic. Pray you heal up quickly, and thank you for making people realize it's real." So, yeah, he got it. I shouldn't really be saying he felt left out. I apologize for that. But no one is safe from spiky Nerf ball, including AJ Styles, who announced that he was diagnosed and recovered from it. Let me see. Yeah, he says on here, he said it on his Twitch channel last Wednesday. He said, Styles says, quote, "I also tested positive a couple weeks ago, probably almost a month, I think ago. I feel for people who have to deal with this, but I got to say I didn't have many problems with it. So hopefully The Rock and his family, hopefully everybody is safe and everybody's taken care of and nobody has too bad of symptoms and stuff like that." Everyone's coming down with it. So now we learn that AJ Styles was one of those that was diagnosed with COVID-19 over a month ago. Remember when we had that influx of people, of WWE talents and scouts and producers that came down with it? Here's one of them. Another one of them. Good news on the spiky Nerf ball front. Well, Major League Wrestling is set to return this November after a hiatus due to COVID-19. I don't know what Major League Wrestling is. I don't know what a Major League Wrestling is. I see them a lot all over my Twitter, but I have no idea who they are. Maybe we can watch some ML dub on here sometime. I'm not sure. I'm sure the Gestapo will ding me. More news on the company front. The WWE elected Steve Pammon, a longtime partner of Beyonce's, to the board of directors. Steve Pammon is the president and COO of Parkwood Entertainment, a company founded by Beyonce back in 2010. Pammon is responsible for many critical and commercial successes, including the Super Bowl 50 halftime show, Disney Plus's Black is King, and many others. He was Billboard's 2019 Executive of the Year. So, yeah, this sounds like a good hire to me. Sounds like a very, very good hire to me. See how he does amidst the COVID, amidst the spiky Nerf ball. All right, it's time for me to be sad. It's time for me to be sad and not so angry. Jamel telling me low key and Pillman Jr. with ML Dub. Ugh, low key. Ugh. All right, time for me to be sad. Last Friday, we saw the release of Akam and Razar, AOP, from the WWE. Sonny Dinsa and Zim Salmani were released from the WWE. Makes me very, 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 very sad. So now, AOP off the milk carton. This stinks, okay? This one hits me harder than Rusev being released. These guys had so much potential, but injury bug was really hitting them. Torn biceps, torn triceps. God, man, they just could not get out of that hole. And I know everyone's going to say, man, just like the Revival. They just couldn't get out of it. No, these guys were better than the Revival. Way better. Revival was trying to do crap that just wouldn't fly on WWE television. These guys, absolutely. But man. So, I will say this. If AEW better pick these guys up. That's something that they're missing in AEW is a tag team to destroy everyone. The tag teams in AEW suck royally. They just do whatever the hell they want. They do flippy dippy no sell the crap out of everything. I need these guys coming in and power bombing little critters to oblivion. I love that. Okay, you know what? If AOP ends up on AEW, I will watch it. I will finally watch a full episode of AEW. Man, I miss they'll use a different name, different moniker, and that's simple. You know, they can come up with anything. Speaking of parting ways with the WWE, announced Thursday, Mauro Ranallo. No, it was Friday. Wasn't it? What is today? No, it was announced on Wednesday, someday. Mauro Ranallo and the WWE have mutually and amicably agreed to part ways. Statement by the WWE. They mutually and amicably agreed to part ways. Mauro's passion and enthusiasm left an indelible and exciting mark with WWE and its fans, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors. F4 Dub Online said Ranallo had been absent from broadcasts, but he had been in British Columbia to be with his mother, who had been hospitalized. Ranallo is said to be looking for a less stressful schedule, though during the pandemic, he had been working from his home studio in Santa Monica, California, rather than flying to Orlando. So, Monday, CJ reminded me it was Monday that it was announced. Ranallo would issue a statement via his Facebook page because he is now off the Twitter, saying, quote, I appreciate the opportunity I had to realize my childhood dream working in sports entertainment. I wish the WWE well in the future. Now I want to direct my focus and devote my time to my other projects and to my mental health, charitable activities, and the well-being of my mother and myself. For anyone saying AEW and Mauro Ranallo in the same sentence, shut up. Mauro wants nothing to do with announcing. Period. If he's going to be doing any announcing, it's going to be for MMA or boxing. That's what he's done. He can handle that schedule. But for me personally, I would love to see him devote more time to mental health advocacy. I think he would just be a fantastic addition to lobbying for mental health in this country and across the world. That's just me. Janelle Jackson asked me, do I see Matt Hardy being out for a year or a couple of months because of what happened last night? He's going to be out of action for a significant amount of time. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Sammy Guevara, but AEW's got a lot of answers to give to a lot of questions. Speaking of people who are also leaving professional wrestling, Gabe Sapolsky announced that he is retired from promoting independent wrestling via a report from last Wednesday. This would be after the purchase of Evolve by the WWE, which he co-owned with Sal Hamaoui. Sapolsky said he has left World Wrestling Network and considers himself retired after the purchase by the WWE of Evolve, Progress, WWN. Yeah. So, yeah. More power to him. And this week we will welcome Gabe Sapolsky into the arms of the WWE. Watch for a new hiring. Watch out. They will hire him. Gabe Sapolsky will find a job in the WWE. No question. No question at all. Speaking of the WWE signing people, well, reportedly. WWE reportedly signed former CZ Dub and Evolve star Joe Gacy. I don't know what a Joe Gacy is. He was co-holder of the Evolve Tag Team Championship as a member of the Unwanted Faction with Kobe Carino and Shane Strickland. I don't know who those people are either. It's also said that Gacy is the last of the talent from Evolve that is expected to sign with the WWE. He now joins Josh Briggs, Anthony Green, Brandy Lauren, Leon Ruff, Kurt Stallion, and ref Jack Clemens as former Evolve talent signed on with the WWE. So, I have no idea who this Joker is. I guess I'm going to have to find some of his matches and we'll watch them on the show sometime soon. How's that sound? Sounds good to me, Doug. Okie dokie then. The WWE postponed another week on the USA Network. This is just so they were bumped to Tuesday for the NHL playoff. That happened last week and is happening again this week, and we're not sure if it's going to be airing on Wednesday next week, which then led all of the internet to believe that NXT is moving to Tuesdays and no longer coming back to Wednesdays because they're afraid of AEW. No. We'll hear if they're going back to Wednesdays. I don't see them sticking to Tuesdays. It's only been 2 weeks. And it's because of NHL. Come on, seriously. AEW had to move because of the NBA. Come on, stop it. More sad news. Netflix canceled Big Show's sitcom, The Big Show Show, after one season. There was one episode that was left to air. Canceled after only one season. Kind of sad. It was actually a pretty decent show. I thought it was kind of heartwarming. It's a good show that you would find on ABC's TGIF lineup back in the late 80s, early 90s. But, yeah. Big Show Show's done with having his show. So now Big Show will show up on the Raw show sometime. Shun show. Big Show. Raw show. Big Show canceled. No longer a show. Raw show, always a show. Big Show show up on the show. Big Show. Finally, good news. We want some good news. Let's leave on some good news. Going back to the trademark discussion, Cartoon Network Latin America is producing a new cartoon featuring Rey Mysterio. according to a report by Lucha Central, at the 2020 Pixelotl Festival, Cartoon Network Latin America announced an agreement with the founders of Viva Calavera to produce a cartoon featuring Rey Mysterio as the protagonist. A summary of the show is, and a quote, Rey Mysterio will tell the story of one of the most iconic luchador, a figure admired by all and a star of the ring, but he will also delve into a great secret. Unimaginable forces threaten our world, and he will be a fundamental part of that fight. When their #1 fan discovers this secret, together they will immerse themselves in a world where their excitement and adrenaline of wrestling coexists with mystery, mythology, history, magic, and supernatural beings. There is no mention of the WWE in the press release of the Lucha Central article. F4 Dub Online is reporting that this may be an outside project Mysterio was allowed to do on his own part as results of the terms of his new contract. So, how do you get to do what you want to do? You wait till you renegotiate your contract, and then you've built up something really big, and fly it by the brass. Hey, Natalia, do you and your sister have a cartoon coming up where you're drunk? Hey, Lana, is there a cartoon coming up where you and a lot of ladies are going to put makeup on and stuff? More power to Rey, though. I'm fascinated by this. I'm really fascinated by this. So, yeah. See how that turns out. News on the injury front, and it involves Rey Mysterio. It is confirmed that at last week's Payback pay-per-view, Rey Mysterio suffered a torn tricep. It is not as severe as the torn tricep that befell Edge. But it's a partial tear, which means he should be out for a couple of months, which lines him up around about Survivor Series times is when we'll see Rey Mysterio coming back from the injury. So, with that being said, the injury list. Becky Lynch with a tiny human in her tum-tum. She's not going to be back until WrestleMania times. She's too busy writing a book as well. Jinder Mahal with a reparative surgery on his right knee, the same knee where he suffered a ruptured patella. He's not going to be back, and he should be coming back soon. He won't be due back until October. Edge, torn tricep, as stated previously. He will not be back until WrestleMania times. Charlotte Flair, cosmetic surgery on a bad boob. She won't be back until Survivor Series times. Lars Sullivan. Insert horrible commentary about racism here. His knee was destroyed. ACL, MCL, PCL, gone. Who knows when we're going to see him again? He's been gone now for nearly 16 months. Who knows if we're going to see him? Xavier Woods, coming back from a torn Achilles. He should be coming back soon. He's due back around SummerSlam times. It's been 2 weeks after that. We should see him sometime soon. Ember Moon, though, has a way more severe Achilles tear than Xavier Woods' is. We may not see her until Royal Rumble times of next year. Not sure. I'm not sure if she may even still have a career, but we're right now being conservative in Royal Rumble times, being the return of Ember Moon. Jimmy Uso, cleanup surgery on his right knee. We should see him around Survivor Series time. Boa, the Chinese male of NXT, not the Chinese female. That's Xia Li. Boa, torn rotator cuff and labrum. He should be due back to be returning, but I think he would be in the crowd during the Performance Center shows, cheering and stuff, so who knows. Dexter Loomis with an ankle injury of some kind, not sure. He'll be back in time for the Survivor Series. In the meantime, he has been tweeting videos of himself enjoying Bloody Marys at a local diner, that's all he posts, and I fucking love it. And finally, Karrion Kross, separated shoulder. We will not see him until Survivor Series times. So Those are the people that are hurt. What about the people who aren't hurt? What about the people who are perfectly healthy? What about the people who haven't been on television, WWE pay-per-view or otherwise for, say, 3 weeks? They end up on a very special list. A list of my own design that I have cultivated and grown and seen wither and die away with the advent of WWE's Raw Underground and releasing some of my favorite people. Or also just think about bringing people back because of the Thunderdome, the Orgasmatron. Who are these people that I'm talking about, Doug? Oh, they're people who haven't been on TV for a very long time, and I'm here to tell you, you shouldn't be shocked when you see them let go or released. I'm here to inform you. That's all I'm trying to do. Turn your head if you're squeamish. Brace for impact. It's a WWE milk carton.
Oh, Vince can go suck my left big toe. AOP, I'm gonna miss you.
I try so hard. Let's start things off with a favorite that always seems to show up on the milk carton, and that is Kushida. And he always seems to show up on the milk carton after he's had a triple threat match, because we haven't seen him since August the 12th, where he was on the episode of NXT in a triple threat match to be part of the North American title ladder match at TakeOver 30. Another favorite that always seems to show up on the milk carton every fucking month, Humberto Carrillo. Haven't seen him since the August 10th episode of Monday Night Raw, where take your pick on who he was going against. Was he in a tag team match involving Murphy and Rollins? Was he in a singles match against Murphy? Maybe a singles match against Rollins. I don't know, but that's all he's been doing for the past 4 months. Shane Thorne. Haven't seen him since the August 5th episode of NXT, where he had a match with Bronson Reed to confirm that Bronson Reed was a thing. It was way too long of a match. Why he got in the offense, I don't know. And by Lord, what the hell is he wearing? Jamel reminding me too. Yeah, Humberto could have been going against Angel Garza and Andrade for all I know as well. Kofi Kingston. Haven't seen him since the July 24th episode of SmackDown, where he gave Big E his blessings to go on his singles match run. Storyline says that he's injured. He sure as hell is not. This is the picture of him on the WWE roster page holding a SmackDown Tag Team title that he has not held for over 8 weeks. Double D, Dominik Dijakovic. We haven't seen him since the July 22nd episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Karrion Kross to confirm that Karrion Kross is a thing. What's been going on since then? Karrion Kross is on the shelf with a separated shoulder, and he's been dressing up in black as part of Retribution. That did not show up on last week's episode of SmackDown, and has not shown up on the past 2 pay-per-views. Big Show. Haven't seen him since the Raw Show on July the 20th, where he had a match against Randy Orton Show. Big Show, we will see him on the Raw Show. Sometimes he will show up sometime because his Big Show was canceled. So the Big Show will show up soon. Indus Sher, Saroff, and Rinku. Haven't seen them since the June 24th episode of NXT, where this cat, Malcolm Bivens, was talking big about them after they did a run-in on a tag team title match involving Imperium and Breezango, which ironically was the title match that Imperium lost their titles to 2 or 3 weeks ago. I have no idea where these jokers are. All I know is Indus Sher has not been on TV for the reason green. is the reason, and Malcolm Bivens hasn't been on TV because we don't know what the fuck he is. Look at this guy. Is he supposed to be menacing and evil or something? Because that look doesn't tell me it. Mojo Rawley. Haven't seen him since the June 19th episode of SmackDown, where he had a match against Shorty G to confirm that Shorty G was a thing. Since then, Shorty G had to have another confirmation match 7 weeks later to try to align himself with Karen Borbin to go after Matt Riddle. Since that, Matt Riddle and Shorty G have let bygones be bygones? And Shorty G has, I don't know. Mojo Rawley, though, hasn't been doing jack or crap for nearly 3 months. Xia Li, haven't seen her since the June 17th episode of NXT, where she faced off against Aaliyah and will forever be known as the projectile vomit match, where Robert Stone jumped up onto the apron, projectile vomited onto the ring, and distracted Xia Li so that Aaliyah could win. Forgotten Sons. Haven't seen them since the March 29th episode of SmackDown, where they had a monologue, gave some sort of wacky salute, and we haven't seen them since. If any of you have been seen, Jackson Riker has been incredibly vocal on the Twitter as of late, reciting biblical quotes. And trying to say that you should use the social media for good, even though 2 days after the horrific murder of George Floyd, he showed his praise for Donald Trump being our president. Forgotten Sons are absolutely forgotten. I feel sorry for Blake and Cutler. I feel really sorry for those two guys being not on TV because of this joker. Watch out for the release of Jackson Riker soon. And watch out for Blake and Cutler. They may be going back to NXT or NXT UK. Chelsea Green. Haven't seen her since the May 27th episode of NXT, where she teamed up with Charlotte Flair to face off against Rhea Whipley and Io Shirai. After that match where her and Flair were victorious, she would fire her manager, Robert Stone. Since then, Robert Stone has been on television every single week, and Chelsea Green, not so much. Last Friday's episode of SmackDown, we saw a short vignette of high heels walking by, dragging a fur coat in tow. My guess is that that will be Chelsea Green. Gil's in the chat room saying, "Wee!" Carmella, haven't seen her since the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on May the 10th, where she took part in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. She's been doing jack and crap. She's been too busy doing a podcast with boy toy Corey Graves. Who knows if she's ever going to be wrestling ever again. I don't know what's going on here. Pete Dunne. Haven't seen him since the April 15th episode of NXT, where he showed up on a giant video screen to let us know that Matt Riddle had a new tag team partner to defend the NXT tag team titles with, and that was the guy with worse teeth than anyone from the UK, Timothy Thatcher. Since then, Timothy Thatcher is in NXT doing Timothy Thatcher things. Matt Riddle is on SmackDown doing Matt Riddle things. Pete Dunne is doing something we don't know, but it's across the pond in the UK. But Doug, he hasn't renewed his contract. Yes, it's true. His contract expired. Yes, it's true. His merchandise was lifted from WWEshop.com. However, one thing that was not done, his picture remains on the roster page. Bork Laser. We haven't seen him since night 2 of WrestleMania, where he lost the WWE title to Drew McIntyre. It's in negotiations right now. Contract negotiations are going on. Anyone saying AEW and Bork Laser, shut up. Bork Laser wants to stay with the WWE, but it's going to be for substantial coinage because they want him in the Orgasmatron, and Bork don't want to be in the Orgasmatron. He wants a hell of a lot of money. And can you blame him? Grizzled young veterans. Zach Gibson and James Drake. Haven't seen them since the March 11th episode of NXT where they did a run-in on Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle after they successfully defended the NXT Tag Team titles. I've bitched about them when it comes to their push. Now I'm just going to bitch about them because they're on the NXT roster page and not the NXT UK roster page. NXT UK will be reappearing soon, and these guys will be back on that show. So there you go. Robert Roode, haven't seen him since the March 8th Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, where he teamed up with Dolph Ziggler to try to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. At the ripe young age of 43, he is still across the border in Canada. Unless he's going to be making his debut sometime on Monday Night Raw, because he was involved in a trade for him and Dolph Ziggler to go to Raw, and SmackDown got AJ Styles, right? Right? Mansoor, haven't seen him since the February 27th Super Showdown out of Riyadh, Jeddah, Bismarck, South Dakota. Well, it's called South Dakota because the WWE doesn't want to say that country anymore. He faced off against Dolph Ziggler in Super Showdown, confirming the fact that he will only perform in his home country of South Dakota. We don't know what's going on with South Dakota shows right now. It would be around about this time that the WWE probably would have had another South Dakota show of some kind. And this is why I want to dig deep into their financials. Kona Reeves, haven't seen him since the February 19th episode of NXT, where he took a powder to Keith Lee in less than 25 seconds. Vanessa Bourne, haven't seen her since a Big Boy Battle Royale on January the 15th episode of NXT, where it was a Battle Royale of the Vagina Persuasion involving trying to figure out a number one contender for the NXT Women's title. Bianca Belair won that thing. So, there you go. Take a sip of the sources, because we have stumbled onto the stalwart of the WWE milk carton. Let's do some counting, kids. I think we're close to 10 weeks. Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 weeks. It will be 10 weeks until we christen a brand new golden gallon. What's a golden gallon? It's someone who is perfectly healthy, has not been on the WWE's television or pay-per-view, and is on the main roster and hasn't done anything for a calendar year. Right now, the only golden gallons ever have been the Colognes of Primo and Epico, who weren't on television for, 14 to 16 months, but yet still part of the main roster. So, 10 weeks. You know what that means? He's going to debut on the Raw Underground soon, but let's dip into 2019 and hail Bo Dallas. We haven't seen him since the November 15th episode of SmackDown, where he, Drew Gulak, and Curtis Axel were in the ring making fun of Braun Strowman leading up to Survivor Series. Since then, Curtis Axel is no longer with the WWE. Drew Gulak is appearing sporadically on television. He had a nice thing going with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan isn't in the building, so Drew Gulak is doing nothing. And Braun Strowman is doing stuff. He won a title, but I don't know what he's doing now. 10 weeks until our boy, Bo Dallas, becomes forever christened as a golden gallon. And that is the WWE milk carton. Who else is due up to show up on this thing? I'm looking at 6 talents. No, I'm sorry. No, take that back. 11. 11 talents that may be appearing on the milk carton. Some big names and good old familiar faces that'll be showing up. Mediocre Lou says, I'm shocked he has not already been on Underground. I am too. He should be showing up on Raw Underground soon to get the crap beat out of him by Babatunde. I'm sorry, Daba Kato. Sorry. It's Daba Kato. God, what a stupid name. Babatunde. What's wrong with Babatunde? What's wrong with that? Crack open another one. Because it's now time. Oh gosh, that's foaming a little. Because it's now time, instead of being angry and frustrated and depressed, it's now time for us to be Vince McMahon. No, we're not going to lay the banhammer. No, instead, we are going to once again try to book WrestleMania. Since the last time we attempted booking WrestleMania, Orton is back, and he's a champion. 1 or 2 matches have already happened from the WrestleMania whiteboard. And some people are getting pushes that we didn't think would. So it's time to go bonkers on this whiteboard. And everyone in the chat room, you guys are going to help me out on this one. We're going to do it live. But also, before we do that, as always, we've got to go back into the classroom and talk about Fantasy Booking 101. Fantasy Booking 101. Everyone fantasy books. All wrestling fans do it. Every professional wrestling podcast does it. It's what they use to cite, God, that sucked. Why didn't they do this? Oh, I don't like it that they didn't do what I think they should do. Fantasy booking. So, here we go. Fantasy Booking 101. How to effectively fantasy book without looking like a Cheeto muncher. Number 1, remember everything. You see it every week with me in the WWE milk carton. Remember everything. Know what programs have happened. Know why people are hurt. Know what they've done 6, 7, 8 months prior, even a calendar year. Remember everything. It can be used to fuel a program coming up in the future. Say, 6 months down the line when you're doing a WrestleMania. Book for the long haul. Don't just do a match because, just to have a match. There's a reason they're doing it. And don't have just the one match and that's it. Nah, you start a rivalry and it goes on for the span of 4 television shows. That's a month. Maybe you have it span 12 television episodes, a 3-month program. It's what the WWE is known for. Long haul programs are the best programs where you can have a match, a rematch, a special stip, a title match. Drag that sucker out. It feels good when it happens. Book the story. It doesn't matter what the hell they're going to do in the ring, move-wise. Yes, it would be fantastic to see triple powerbomb into super double-decker moonsault, all while balancing an egg on a spoon. But that doesn't matter. You're booking the story. You're going to have 4 television episodes of this program. What are we talking about on these TV programs? What kind of double crosses happened? Is there a swerve? How did the swerve happen? Who did it happen to? On, how, when? Book the story, because that's what they do in that ring, is they tell a story. And finally, the most important one, it's not about you. It's about what is entertaining for the collective. How can you get the most eyeballs to watch your show? It ain't about, I got to do my Dr. Phil voice. It ain't about you. You book for the long haul, you book the story, you stop thinking about the wacky dippy flippy dippy shit that they're going to do in the ring. It's about what makes for good television. Be a good TV writer, not a good TV watcher. So what about WrestleMania? Last year's WrestleMania was 2 nights. Saturday, 7 to 10, Sunday from 7 to 10:30. 16 matches were on that WrestleMania card last year. 9 title matches, 7 grudge matches. 2 of those 16 matches were cinematic matches. Of the 9 title matches, they involved the Universal title, the WWE title, all of the women's titles, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and tag team titles. Also the tag team titles of Raw and SmackDown, as well as the Intercontinental Championship. All 3 brands were involved in last year's WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, culminating with 166 performers involving all 3 brands last year. So, how is next year's WrestleMania going to be structured? It's pretty simple now. It seemed taboo, but it's pretty cut and dry now. Will all 3 brands be represented? Yes, absolutely, because NXT is now part of the main roster. Will WrestleMania 37 be 2 nights? Yes! With NXT in the main roster, the takeover is irrelevant. There's no longer going to be a WrestleMania takeover show. And what's more, SoFi Stadium may be built and good to go for WrestleMania, but let's be frank and be realistic. It ain't happening. COVID is here to stay. Spiking Nerf ball is here to stay. And people won't get their shit together. And our federal government is inept. And local governments will not adhere to just common sense. So, WrestleMania 37 will be 2 nights, and they'll be within the Orgasmatron. How many matches will be at WrestleMania 37? Probably between 16 to 20 matches. With NXT established, more performers will be recognizable. So thus, TakeOver would become WrestleMania Saturday if regular WrestleMania was going on. But now, we're just going to have Orgasmatron WrestleMania, 2 nights of WrestleMania. Will there be cinematic matches? Absolutely. This was confirmed in WWE's conference call regarding the first quarter of this year. How many title matches are going to be at next year's WrestleMania? At least a dozen. But there are right now 14 titles on the main roster. Universal, WWE, NXT. The women's tag team titles, the women's Raw, SmackDown, and NXT titles, the United States, the Intercontinental title, and some tag team titles on both SmackDown and Raw, as well as the Little Critter title. So, next year's WrestleMania, according to my great sources, WrestleMania will be 2 nights. We'll have 18 matches. They've learned now, because of the shortened WrestleMania from this year, they really had to make shift and do what they could. Now they know what's going to be happening. Now they have the Orgasmatron set up. 2 nights, 18 matches. 9 matches each night. Of those 18 matches, we will have a dozen title matches, 4 grudge matches, and 2 cinematic grudge matches. So there you go. That's what's lined up. That's what we've got in store for next year's WrestleMania. Strap in, kids. Grab your markers. Let's go fantasy booking. Here we go. Here was the card that we were left with for WrestleMania. On night 1, we had Samoa Joe going after the defending WWE champion Drew McIntyre. We had Sasha Banks versus Karen Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. We had a Raw tag team clusterfuck of some kind. We had the Iconics facing Nia Jax in a handicapped women's tag team title match where Nia Jax was going against the Iconics. We had John Cena versus Randy Orton in a grudge match. But we still have yet to book a United States title match, a Little Critter title match, a grudge match and a cinematic grudge match. I know, Gills, you're looking for the whiteboard. I can't fit it here anymore. You're not going to see the actual physical whiteboard until I move into a home. We'll put it that way. Night 2 of WrestleMania saw Bray Wyatt facing Burn for the Universal title. We saw Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's title. For the NXT Women's title, we had Rhea Whipley facing off against Candace LeRae. Mediocre Lewis tapping out. I'll see you soon. Wee! SmackDown Tag Team title clusterfuck match. Seth Rollins versus Keith Lee for the NXT title. We had Keith Lee with the NXT title. Karen Bourbon versus Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental title. Otis versus Tucker in a cinematic grudge match. And 2 grudge matches that are yet to be booked for night 2. All right. Let's get to this. Let's start right from the top and go to night 1. Samoa Joe versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Right now, when we were booking this, we booked Samoa Joe to win the Royal Rumble. Right now, we have no idea if Samoa Joe is even going to be performing in the ring anymore. I've got a feeling he's not. I've got a feeling he's going to be behind that commentary desk for a very long time. Yet, this still could happen. Samoa Joe versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Jamel telling me he doesn't see Joe returning to the ring. I know, with each passing pay-per-view, it seems more and more obvious. Got Andrew saying that Big E's going to win the Rumble now. Well, very true. He could. Big E, Drew McIntyre? Is that what I'm hearing? Am I hearing Big E, Drew McIntyre? If that's the case, then you're shipping the New Day to Raw. And SmackDown will forever have New Day. They ain't moving. New Day is staying on Raw. So, Crash asking Undertaker, are we getting another Undertaker match? We didn't have Undertaker No. We're not getting an Undertaker match. No, that's not happening. Vince doesn't like teasing things that can't happen, so Joe standing up to Rollins makes me think he's returning, says Gills. Yeah. It's kind of that's what I'm kind of thinking, but I don't know. Do I keep Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre? Is the thing. Bashoon saying Big E to Raw. Well, again, if we're shipping Big E, we're shipping New Day to Raw, and that ain't happening. New Day is SmackDown, and is forever SmackDown. If it's not Samoa Joe versus Drew McIntyre, who is Drew McIntyre facing from Monday Night Raw? Who? It's no one from the Hurt Business. It's not Seth Rollins. I don't know. Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens? Aleister Black? What are we doing? Randy Orton? No, we're not doing Randy Orton. Edge? Edge. If Edge comes back before WrestleMania to have his match against Randy Orton, Edge? Jamel saying Drew versus Dominic Mysterio. No, we can't do. No, too early. No. I'm not buying that. I'd rather see Dominic with the U.S. title. I'd rather see Dominic do a lot more things than go after the WWE title. Gil saying Goldberg. Edge, Goldberg, or Dominic sounds interesting. Goldberg we can absolutely do. And it can further confirm Drew McIntyre. That sounds like the surefire. Dominic is not in a title hunt right now, but we can easily change that. You know what? I'm going to go with Goldberg on this one. I like that idea, Gills, because it's an easy go-to. Requires very little booking, very little storyline, very little TV time. I'll take Goldberg. All right, Goldberg, Drew McIntyre. Sasha, Karen for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. For crying out loud, we nailed this sucker. We got the swerve last Friday. We've got Sasha Banks wearing a chair necklace. She is going to be out for a considerable amount of time. She could win the Women's Royal Rumble. The past 2 Women's Royal Rumbles, she's been in it for an incredibly long time. Have her win it. Even though she's one of, in my opinion, she's one of the worst on the roster. She is. She is horrible. She is absolutely horrible. Sasha's off TV. Sasha will come back on TV to go after Karen. What if Karen loses the title in between then and we have a new SmackDown Women's Champion? We'll keep it at this for now. We can always change it later, and this can become a grudge match if we need it to be. Raw Tag Team Clusterfuck. I'm keeping that as a Raw Tag Team Clusterfuck. We never know what the fuck is going on with tag team divisions anyway. Name the Raw Tag Team Champions, Street Profits. Who are the rivals? Viking Raiders, Garza, and Andrade. That's all it is. Who the fuck cares? Who cares? All right. Now let's go to one of the reasons that I'm sad. Iconics versus Nia Jax in a handicap match for the women's tag team titles. I am sad. Okay, yes, the Iconics are split up. But that doesn't mean that Peyton Royce won't be managed by Billie Kay. This makes me sad. This sounded so good. This sounded so good. Oh, sad. This makes me so sad. CJ bringing up Undisputed Era. That can happen. We could see Undisputed Era show up on Raw or SmackDown soon. Grash saying we may need to move it to the pre-show. That's one thing, is that we are predicting, if you realize this now, okay, there were 16 matches on last year's WrestleMania. That included the pre-show. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Some of these matches will be on a pre-show. Okay? The tag team matches could absolutely be on a pre-show. Okay? Women's tag team match. Come on, help me out here. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler are the women's tag team champions. New tag teams that we have forming up right now. We've got the Wyatt squad of Wooby Wyatt, Liv Morgan. Who else? Who else could we have? Who else could be tag team? Anyone else? It's the only tag team I can think of. Shayna and Nia Jax are going to lose the tag team titles at some point. Or Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler could face each other for who becomes the sole owner of the tag team championships. Oh, yeah, that's right. Natalya and Lana. Thank you, Mashoon. Yeah. Totally forgot about those people. Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez says, Jamel, no, you're right. We could have a women's tag team clusterfuck. That could happen. Women's tag team clusterfuck. Calling it. We'll do that. Women's tag team clusterfuck. Because, I mean, we really... Iconics are disbanded, and I was totally dependent on them to still be around. Because, God damn it, that sounded so good. That sounded so good. Handicap match involving those two with Nia Jax sounded so good. Oh, well. John Cena versus Randy Orton. We're sticking with this one, aren't we? Of course we are. Jamel, Casey Catanzaro, and Caden Carter, thank you. Yes, women's tag team clusterfuck is happening. That is definitely happening. I've got a feeling that the titles will be up for grabs. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax will just disband and pitch them. They don't give a shit about them. Cena Orton is happening, right? Or is Edge Orton happening? Is Edge Orton happening again? Daniel telling me Cena Orton is happening. Okay. All right. So we'll keep it at that. Problem is, I thought Cena was dead after his cinematic match with The Fiend. I got CJ saying U.S. title match, Bobo Lashley MVP. I'm going to actually do you one better for the United States title. I give you Bobo Lashley and Dominic. If I'm going to push Dominic, I'll push him in this one. I will push Dominic Mysterio in this one. I'll push Dom Mysterio and Bobo. We'll do Dom Mysterio and Bobo for the United States title. I like that idea. I kind of like that. A build for Dom would be great. That would be a great build. Have him go through the ringers. Have him go against Shelton Benjamin, against MVP. He could have a match against MVP on a pay-per-view. Yeah, I think it'd be great. That's great. The Little Critter title match I really actually do want to focus on. Santos Escobar and El Legado del Fantasma have been a thing of beauty on NXT. It is high time that the Little Critter title get on the main card of WrestleMania. It's high time it happens. Escobar is doing a fantastic job. So, who we got? Who we got? I'll tell you right now, it's not anyone that's appearing on 205 Live. No. Someone brand new. It'll be someone who's right now probably on Raw or SmackDown. I'm putting it out there right now. This is how you keep him on the main roster. Well, it's how you keep him employed. And you showcase this, and he is going to be transferred off of Raw and main television to have El Legado del Fantasma possibly come to Raw or SmackDown. Doug, who the hell are you talking about? Richard O'Shea. Richard O'Shea versus Escobar for the Little Critter title. What are we doing with him? Nothing. Nothing. We're doing nothing with him. Disband that whole group of Apollo and Ricochet and Cedric. Who cares? Who cares? You could build a program of Ricochet's group and El Legado del Fantasma. It can happen. You could have randomly Cedric Alexander challenging Escobar on a random episode of NXT for the title. Then all hell breaks loose between the two factions on Raw and NXT. Why not? I can span that starting at Royal Rumble. I can have it start at the Royal Rumble because they'll appear in the Royal Rumble match.
This makes me feel so smart.
Am I wrong? Probably. Probably. But it's a dream. But it sounds so good. You can book this. You can absolutely book this. Jamel saying Mustafa Ali. Yep, Mustafa Ali is added in there as well. He hasn't been on TV. I think he's going to be in on the milk carton if he doesn't show up soon. But that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'll do. Yeah. I'll do Ricochet and Escobar for the little critter title. All right. Daniel asking, what's Shelton Benjamin doing? He's going to be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Okay. Cinematic grudge match. Cinematic grudge match. Aleister Black is heel now. Seth Rollins, heel. Does Aleister Black hate Seth Rollins? Aleister Black hates Kevin Owens. If I'm going to have a cinematic match and it involves people from Raw, Aleister Black is one of them. Then what do I have? Who would I pit against Aleister Black in a cinematic match? What am I doing? What do I do there? I really think Aleister Black is going to have a cinematic match of some kind. But I don't know against who. I have no idea. He's going to have an eye patch for Lord knows how long. Which is stupid. Unless I am getting Black Rollins. And Gills is kind of reading my mind in there. He says Rollins versus someone in a church. That's what I'm looking at. I am looking at Rollins or Black in a church. Something like that. Jama in the chat room going, wee! Edge for some reason, St. Jamel? Yeah, but I think that would be with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, Edge in a cinematic match in a church. Rated R Superstar, Monday Night Messiah. We'll get to AJ Styles in a second, kids. Look at Night 2. Night 2 has got a lot of stuff we're going to be working on here. Seth Rollins versus Damien Priest. Now, Damien Priest is staying in NXT. I like that idea of Seth Rollins Edge cinematic. That sounds pretty good. We can build it up for a while. If Edge comes back in time, is the thing. If I don't see Edge by Royal Rumble, then we better figure something out. Edge Seth Rollins sounds really good. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just stick with it for now. We're going to be going back to this whiteboard throughout the year, okay? But it's always fascinating when we go back to it to see what all has changed. Some matches already happening, so yeah. But let's go let's go with Edge Rollins in a cinematic. Edge Rollins in a cinematic match. We'll do that. All right. I'm going to leave this extra grudge match open. We're not sure what this one's going to be. Right now, there's not enough stuff happening anywhere else to kind of figure it out, you know? So I think we'll leave that open. We'll leave it open for now. Night 2. Night 2 of WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt versus Orton for the Universal title. We see the gears turning right now for Bray Wyatt Orton. But this might be happening earlier than WrestleMania. Will Bray Wyatt Orton... Well, actually, first, I think we need to change this. It is not Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. I meant to misspell that. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Orton. Is this going to happen at WrestleMania? I'll tell you, they can drag a Bray Wyatt program. You started off with him just as the Firefly Funhouse guy, then you have a cinematic match, and then the Fiend comes back. You can do it. Or Big E wins the Royal Rumble and is either facing the Fiend or Orton. I'm going to tell you right now, it is neither. Neither. Well, scratch that, scratch that, scratch that, scratch that. CJ saying Big E versus Reigns versus Otis. Sounds fun. That sounds fun. I want to get Otis in this mix. I really do. Jamel saying it's either Big E versus Bray or Orton versus Big E. Gut says E wins the Royal Rumble and faces Orton. That sounds right. That really does sound good. Triple threat. Yeah, Big E, Orton, Fiend. Otis. But what do we do? Daniel brings it up. What do we do with Otis? Is Otis going to be one of those chivalrous babyface Money in the Bank winners and say, I'm cashing it in and this is going to be my match? I don't like that idea, but I really see that happening. Sometime in between now and then, we're going to see Otis cash in and face Orton at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, and he'll lose. Yeah. That's what I see there. But Big E Orton sounds really good. The Universal title match needs to be a singles match. It cannot be a protection match. I like that. Oh! Big E, Orton, and all of New Day returns. All of New Day returns. Xavier Woods shows up. He'll be perfectly healthy. Roman spears him. Kofi Kingston comes out and saves it. Oh, that's good shit. That's good shit, dog. Big E, Orton. Straight up. Big E, Orton. That is some good shit right there. That is some good shit. In fact, makes Roman look bad because there's no shield to protect him. Oh. 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 God, that's so good. Oh, that's very, very good. Oh. Oh, that's very good. And in the meantime, you can have a tag team match with Big E and Xavier Woods versus Roman Reigns, and who knows? Xavier Woods and Roman Reigns having a small program leading up to this. CJ Burton and the Usos versus Big E New Day. No, we're going to get confirmation of legitimate heel Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso at Clash of Champions. We're going to get legitimate heel confirmation when Roman Reigns uses a chair. Jama, reading my mind, it took 3 of you to take down 1 of me. Yes, exactly. 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 And also the Usos could team up and take down Roman Reigns too. See, that's what this is all about. It's going to be really fascinating. Raw Women's Title. Asuka versus Bianca versus Shayna. Right now, we're anticipating that Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax are not going to be a tag team. Is this going to be a Raw Women's Title clusterfuck? Is Asuka still going to have the women's title? Right now, Bianca even appearing on television has been intermittent. It's been all Asuka. All day, every day. I don't know what's happening with the Raw Women's title right now. There's going to be a push. A female is going to be pushed on the Raw side at some point. Nia versus Shayna for the Raw title, says Andrew. That sounds about right to me. That sounds absolutely feasible. Jama saying he would like Zelina Vega to be in the contention. I really thought that she would be part of the title picture a while back. She has been in the ring somewhat. What are we doing? What are we doing? Clusterfuck? Is that what we're doing? Are we doing a clusterfuck? Mashoon, don't bring up Mickie James. Mickie James is nowhere to be found in this. She'll have a match against Asuka and take a powder before WrestleMania. Well before WrestleMania. Shayna Nia Jax seems way more apparent. They could be Raw women's, they could be the women's tag team champs, and then they lose the tag team titles, and then they turn on each other, and somewhere in between that, one of them becomes Raw women's champion while they're the Raw tag. There you go. Done. 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 We're going to do Nia Shayna. Period. Charlotte, isn't she returning? Yes, Charlotte is returning. And Becky Lynch. Charlotte's going to be on SmackDown. Charlotte will absolutely go to SmackDown. I'm starting to think this is going to be a clusterfuck now. This is just going to be an absolute clusterfuck. I can't do that, though. I cannot use a clusterfuck. That's such a... No. No. We'll keep it at Nia Shayna. We'll see what happens. In a couple of months after Survivor Series, we're definitely going to be changing all of this. Rhea Whipley versus Candace LeRae for the NXT Women's title. Yes, this is still going to stick. This is sticking. This is absolutely happening. Absolutely happening. Without question. No problem there. Jamel saying, and Wanda Wowsy got a dream. I know, man. I know we got a dream, but man. NXT title. We had Keith Lee having the NXT title, to me, was a great idea going into WrestleMania, but then they slammed on the gas, put him on Monday Raw, told him to put on a shirt, and gave him new music. So Seth Rollins, Keith Lee, NXT title is not happening. We're going to have an NXT title match at WrestleMania. Who we got? Who we got? Right now, the NXT champion will be determined this week. It will either be Finn Balor, Fonz Balor, or Johnny Gargano. No, I'm sorry, Fonz Balor or Adam Cole. Fonz Balor or Adam Cole. Adam Cole getting it back? Sounds about right. Adam Cole getting it right sounds about right. Fonz Balor is horrible. Balor sucks. I can't. He is no good. Fonz Balor, Tomato Chomper. We've had too much Tomato Chomper Adam Cole. We can't have that anymore. Karrion Kross returning from injury in a couple of months. Could do that. They're loving Bronson Reed. He's got a fantastic entrance. Have you seen his entrance, Bronson Reed? They got that Titantron look, and fantastic for Bronson Reed. Oh, man. Fonz Balor, Tomato Chomper, says Jamel. That's sounding more apparent. I would love Cole McAfee too, Jama. I want me some more McAfee. McAfee was fantastic. He was fantastic. It's looking like Tomato Chomper and Fonz Balor. That's what it's looking like. Fonz Balor can have the title, defeat Adam Cole, and then have some other matches against Gargano. You know, throw anyone else in there. It doesn't matter. We can build up Tomato Chomper with getting his rematch on Karrion Kross in a garbage match to protect Karrion Kross. Tomato Chomper Fonz Balor sounds about right. Either Fonz Balor or Karrion Kross. Maybe. But again, that just plays into NXT. There's no such thing as baby faces or heels. No. Well, you know what? That sounds about right. Balor Chomper sounds about right. All right, so Fonz Balor, Tomato Chomper. Okay, kids, have some fun with this Intercontinental title match. We had it be Karen Bourbon versus Matt Riddle. That match already happened. Neither have the Intercontinental title. It's right now between a returning Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. Jeff Hardy will be released before WrestleMania. That's when his contract ends, and they are done with his ass. It's either that or his final match is at WrestleMania. And he has a win the title or retire. Jamel's saying that Triple H may want Karrion Kross's long-ass entrance in the Orgasmatron. It's true. That's very true, but we can always change it. We can always change this. All right. Corbin Riddle Intercontinental title is not happening. Zayn, Styles, and Jeff Hardy. Zayn versus Cesaro versus Nakamura. No, Gills. That ain't happening. No. I want to try to work this into a Jeff Hardy loses his job angle. Because this is about when his contract expires. Who will be champion when Hardy puts this on the line? Baron Corbin? Could. I like the idea. No, actually, scratch that. Jeff Hardy has a grudge match where his career is on the line instead. Jamel saying Cesaro, AJ Styles. I am not buying Cesaro or Nakamura in any match other than a tag team match. I'm not. Okay? I'm not. Look at Gil's thinking. Jeff Hardy and The Fiend. Look at that. Yes. Yes. Cinematic match. Jeff Hardy and The Fiend. Absolutely can be done for no reason whatsoever. It's because The Fiend is The Fiend. The Fiend versus Jeff Hardy in a cinematic match. Absolutely. Oh, God, that's great. That is fantastic. All right, I'm giving that the cinematic match treatment. All right, first, let's just do that right now. Let's get that down there right now. Okay? I love that idea. I love that idea. I want The Fiend and I want The Fiend and Bender in a cinematic match. That's what I'm calling him. That's what Jeff Hardy is. Jeff Hardy is Bender. Yeah, that's what I'm calling him now. Bender. The Fiend versus Bender in a cinematic match. Oh, that's going to be so good. Oh. Bender ends up getting trapped in a bottle. Gil's saying that's 3 predictions of mine you've listened to, so if it's wrong, it's all my fault. No, everything's going to be changing, okay? This is not permanent, okay? But I want you to see, you're noticing how Night 2 is very SmackDown-centric? There's a reason for that. Fox. That's why. Fox. We're still stuck on this Intercontinental title thing. Where's AJ Styles? Where's Daniel Bryan? Where is Baron Corbin? Where is Sheamus? Where is Sami Zayn? AJ Styles, I think I already mentioned him. This is a tough one. This is very, very tough. This one is incredibly tough. Am I getting Matt Riddle as an Intercontinental Champion versus Daniel Bryan? How's that sound? 4-way ladder match, asking Jamel. I've got 3 clusterfucks on here. I don't know. I just cannot do any more clusterfucks. I like the idea of Matt Riddle, Daniel Bryan. That can be effectively built. That can really be built really well. Let's try that. Daniel Bryan's due to be showing up on television soon. Is it BRIN or is it YN? I don't know. I don't care. There. You know what? Let's just make it even better. There you go. Brain versus Riddle. There you go. Okay. All right, there you go. Otis versus Tucker in a cinematic match in a construction zone. I'm still holding on to this one. This one can happen. This one can absolutely happen. This one can absolutely, positively happen. Okay, you're telling me it's B-R-B-Y-A-N? Okay. B-R-Y-A-N. All right, fine. Otis versus Tucker in a cinematic construction site match, which is built for a very, very long time. Because we got Otis cashing in the contract, face Burden. Tucker turns on him. And just a thorn in his side for 5 months. Yes, we can do that. We can absolutely do that. We can still do this. Otis versus Tucker in a construction site match. That sounds fantastic. That sounds great. Guys that we're still missing here. And I kind of want to put this out there, and I'll just put these in parentheses. In white, they are not really matches here. But we're still missing Styles. We're still missing Corbin. Who else on the SmackDown side are we missing? Sheamus, maybe. Sheamus, maybe. Strowman. There's no Strowman. No Strowman to be found at all. Over on the Raw side, we got no Owens. No Owens. Black, Aleister Black. And also, we're not thinking of Lynch or Flair. There are a lot of names that are missing from this. Jeff Hardy is Bender, Daniel. The Fiend versus Bender. The cinematic match. There's no Bork. Not sure if he's still going to be around. Yeah, Jamel saying, yeah, didn't even notice Strowman was nowhere to be found. Yeah, there's some people missing here. Okay. There are a lot of people missing. Kofi, we're expecting to come in and help Big E versus Burton for the Universal title. There are a lot of people missing. And that's why it's hard to book WrestleMania. Because you want to be as inclusive as possible. Jama saying is MVP in that Raw cluster. MVP is going to be helping build the program for Dom Mysterio versus Bobo. Is what we're looking at. MVP will be at ringside, as will Rey Mysterio. We'll have tag team matches involving the Mysterios and the Hurt Business. We'll have that. Yeah. And actually, let me change. Well, we just got Cena Orton and just being a regular thing. Well, I do definitely see a Raw Underground type thing happening. A Raw Underground thing may happen, but that's not a match. That's not a match, okay? Hayden bringing up Asuka. I don't have Asuka on my card. Actually, isn't Flair... She's on Raw, isn't she? Yeah, let me do this. Yeah, we got all that right. Asuka. Yeah, there are a lot of performers that we are missing on this that are shown regularly or are considered main event. This can change. This can absolutely change. Because, again, we're looking 7 months down the line. But, yeah. WrestleMania next year. And, oh, God, yeah, God, jeez. For fuck's sake, what the hell am I thinking? We can't forget about R-Truth. Thank you all so much for stopping by here on Wrestleview Weekly. Also, gotta bring this up to you. So, you know, it was so much fun last week doing it, and I had a lot of fun doing it the week prior. That, you know, from now on, Wrestleview Live will now be in watch-along form. From now on, there will not be post-pay-per-view recaps. We are now officially, Wrestleview Live is now officially watch-along. Wrestleview Live is officially a watch-along. Whenever there's a WWE pay-per-view, you can tune in live right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel and watch along with us. My feed may be a little slower than yours, but that's what it is. Oh, Jamel bringing it up as well, and I bring up my chalice to the truth to him. Did you guys enjoy yourselves? I hope you did. I enjoyed you being here and listening to me and my sultry, obnoxious voice. If you like this so much, give us a like. If you liked it too, subscribe to us. Please share us. That sounded vaguely erotic. I did not mean for it to be that way. However, please like, please subscribe, please share. We're not patronizing or condescending. Put out stuff when we put it out. You have my show every Sunday right here on the Wrestleview YouTube channel. I don't know what we're going to dip into next week. I really don't. News dictates what we dip into here. But tomorrow, Mike and Victoria are going to be recapping Monday Night Raw. Look forward to that. And who knows what happens in the news? The effervescent one might put up a reaction video regarding it. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Andrew asking anytime we might be watching some old matches. Well, I've always thought about it. I could be. You know, that's something to do. History lessons. I'm just weary about history lessons, okay? I'm just weary about them because it's more about what's happening now than anything else. But we'll see. But again, thank you all so much for stopping by and letting me infiltrate your ear holes. I'll see you all next week. And as always, know when you're being sold to.